Friday, Fab Four games, the games of the weekend that you might carve up some time in your very busy and tightly scheduled weekend. Which are the best games in North American soccer this weekend? We usually start with Jason, me, producer Jenny, and then chat. So chat, what games are you looking forward to this weekend? Or what games do you think are big that other people might, check out this weekend? Jason, lead us off.
Yeah, I'm gonna give some love to a couple of people who have already mentioned this in the chat. And for me, this is a massive game. It is the Philadelphia Union hosting NYCFC at Subaru Park in the birthplace of my grandfather. On my birthday, I have to mention it. The birthplace of my grandfather, Chester, Pennsylvania. Philly can win the Supporter Shield this weekend. That is why this is. Now, look, NYCFC has been on a heater, right? This is a team worth paying attention to in the Eastern Conference of Major League Soccer. And I think, we're maybe going to get a sense of whether or not Philadelphia is as much an MLS Cup contender as they seem to be Supporter Shield capable. So Philadelphia can win this game and do two things: kill two birds with one stone, two pigeons, if you will. One, they can win the Supporter Shield for the second time in club history. That would be a pretty great achievement for this team, particularly considering the context of firing Jim Curtin, a beloved figure in Philadelphia, the guy who turned them into a contender for trophies in MLS, and hiring Bradley Carnell, a guy who, got pushed out the door in St. Louis when it fell apart for him. So there was a sense that this was a rebuilding year for Philly, and here they are on the verge of a piece of major silverware. That's a big deal. And again, they can prove they are really, really legitimate candidates to win this MLS Cup title if they can beat an NYCFC team that has been very good recently. They just beat the Red Bulls in the Hudson River Derby. They've got momentum behind them. Let's see what happens here.
What an emotional roller coaster for Philly supporters. One of our ardent MK Ultras, Mike, I'm curious how his emotions are doing. At the beginning of the year, they fired their coach. They sell a couple of their highest valued players. Thought they were going down the tubes, but, on the verge of a supporters shield.
Yeah, doing it without Daniel Gazdag, who we thought was their most important player. They don't need Daniel Gazdag, clearly. Yeah, and selling Jack McGlynn. Good point.
Yeah, Columbus fans not over the moon with the performance of Gazdag, it should be noted either. So that's a good pick to start us off here on the Fab Four. My pick number 2 for this weekend. It's been mentioned in the chat a number of times tonight, or this morning rather. Soccer Night in Detroit nails it. My Fab Four pick, Jägermeister Cup final, Sacramento versus Hartford, 10 o'clock Eastern time.
Ooh.
It's an interesting one.
10 o'clock Eastern. That's going to make it hard for your boy to stay up and watch it. I'm old. I just turned another year older. I can't stay up and anyway. Go ahead. Yes, big
older
match.
And more colder. But no, a fantastic competition. I think this is only the second year of the Jägermeister Cup. Sponsors, I think they're calling it the USL Cup, but kind of an interleague cup within the USL system, has provided USL 1 teams with more games.
I'm gonna let Mike come in here and shame me. He's right. Sacramento is where I was born. This is my birthday. We're celebrating my birthday. I was born in Sacramento, California. I absolutely should be making time for this and rooting for Sacramento Republic, right? I'm sorry, Hartford, but I got to root for Sacramento Republic. That's where I was born. Now, Jenny's saying it's at 8 o'clock. We're gonna figure out the timing on this, but go ahead, Rob.
Well, maybe the Google machine gave me a different time. It says 10 o'clock on my screen, but regardless, Saturday night in Sacramento, California, a trophy will be battled for, and that's why it is my Fab Four pick of the weekend. Now, as we are wont to do on Fridays, for the third pick, we're going to bring in producer Jenny. Good morning, Jenny. What is your Fab Four pick this week?
Good morning. I am going with a playoff 6-pointer in the National Women's Soccer League, the North Carolina Courage against Racing Louisville. That's at 7:30 on Saturday. You can watch it on the Ion TV network or Tubi. Big matchup here. Racing Louisville and North Carolina Courage both kind of clinging to playoff hopes right now. Louisville has it on 29 points in 8th place, with North Carolina just 1 point back at 28. So you got a couple of teams that are honestly a little bit disappointing in terms of expectations, particularly when it comes to North Carolina, a team with a lot of history here, trying to salvage their playoff hopes with just a few games left in the NWSL season. So check that one out. 7:30 Saturday on Ion TV.
There you go. I do think I do think that you're right, Rob, that the Jägermeister Cup is a 10 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. So yeah, I think we've confirmed that. But yes, that's a big NWSL game. All right, what we got from the chat? Who's got a pick here beyond the Jägermeister Cup?
I think it's a clearer pick than most weekends, because a lot of folks, suggesting the Philly game, suggesting the USL Cup final, but I think maybe the U20 World Cup match might sneak in.
Now, that's
there.
interesting. Now, we did not block out any time to talk about what happened yesterday in Chile, but the United States men's national team U20s beat France 3-0, a game I was watching while I was on the air doing radio with Eric Ronaldo. It was tough to multitask, but I was interested. The U.S. put 3 in pretty late. It was 0-0 for a long time in that game, but the U.S. was the better team. They deserved the win. Now, it's worth pointing out that while there might be some U20 Americans who weren't available for various reasons, club release, and they're in their senior teams and they're contributors, France's best U20 players are not in their U20 team at the World Cup. They're playing for teams like PSG. Like that's where their best U20 players are. But it's still an achievement. France is a factory when it comes to talent. And so for the United States to beat them and be better than them on the day is certainly something. Now, it's also worth pointing out, and I don't want to be a downer here, it is my birthday after all. But I checked, and if the U.S. wins the group and finishes top the table or top the group in Group D down there in the U20 World Cup, they will get the second place team out of a group that has Argentina and Italy in it. So their round of 16 matchup is not going to be a simple one. They're not going to get a third place team. They're going to get either Argentina or Italy, and it's looking like it might be Italy that they get, with Argentina leading the group right now. Although those two teams still have to play in the third group stage match.
Yeah, you can't play scared, though. I mean, if you're entering into the World Cup, you got to be prepared to play some of the best teams in the world. But it is insane, the depth of talent for France. Like, you can field this really, really good team, and there's players playing for PSG and Champions League games that are in the underage group. That's just unreal. And then how good are those players to be playing for, the European champions at the under 20 level? That's just unreal. So the Fab Four for the first weekend in October 2025. Philly versus New York, Supporters Shield clincher on the line. Pick 2, Sacramento versus Hartford with Jaeger Cup, the USL Cup on the line. Big 6-pointer in NWSL, North Carolina Courage versus Racing Louisville, and the U20 national team taking on South Africa. Thank you, chat, for getting in the mix. A lot of Jason Davis connections in those games.
Yeah, it's like the universe is all coming together for me on my birthday. I think I'm enjoying this. Not I don't know. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, we got Sacramento, we got all this stuff. It's great.
Pat yourself on the back there, Jason. Yeah. The universe.
I just need I just need people to subscribe to the channel. Maybe a couple of more members sign up, and it'll be the best birthday ever.
Yeah. With that in mind, thank you to all of our new members recently. We've got quite a few in the next couple of weeks, but the most recent, Mark Pivratsky, thank you for joining the MK Ultras this week, and look forward to seeing your intro in the MK Discord server, which has been absolutely blowing up. One of our segments later is from a link put into the morning Discord, morning kick around Discord server. That is a mouthful. If you can spit that out. If you don't want to share those dollars to join the channel as a member, you hit subscribe, doesn't cost you a darn thing, or just tell your family, friends, acquaintances, and even your enemies about Morning Kick Around being your favorite show talking about soccer. Kick Around is our handle on all the social medias out there, so connect to us out there. morningkickaround@gmail.com is the way to get a hold of us in a longer form setting. And don't forget, Morning Kick Around is also a podcast, so look up Morning Kick Around on your favorite podcast platform.